What does the fox say? Ring, ding, 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 ding. Hi guys, Jess here, aka Jess on the Move, and today I couldn't think of anything else to do, so I'm going to read you one of my old stories again. So let's read. Mummy always said don't talk to strangers. Pretty sure this is based on a dream that I had. Could be wrong. And also, I'm pretty sure that I used my own name in it. So this was when I was quite young and didn't understand the concept of naming characters something that's not your name. Right. Wait out here while Mummy gets some milk and I'll buy you two a treat, a tall blonde woman said to her children just before she disappeared into the little corner shop. The little children stood innocently outside under the shadow of a giant whippy ice cream. The girl was wearing white dress, falling just above her knees, then her white socks coming up to just below her knee. She was standing up straight, her feet together. She had tiny red shoes on that had little white flowers on the ends of both Velcro straps. And the little boy, who was about a year or two older than the little girl, was wearing a stripy blue and green shirt with dark green dungarees over the top and little blue trainers which had dinosaurs on the side. Info dump! Yay! She tucked her curly blonde hair behind her ear and then held her brother's hand as two vampires came over and showed them what was inside their bags. Sweets. Lots and lots of sweets that to the young children looked so delicious and, well, sweet. Both of them were still getting used to the idea of the world, and they didn't quite understand the concept of good and bad. Because of this, they thought the people simply wanted to be nice and give them some sweets. They followed them to their house and waited for the moment that they would give them the sweets, but they never did. Instead their treat was being locked in the basement. It's like this much long, like, just space between each paragraph. When the mother came out of the shop and realised her children were no longer there, she dropped the bags on the floor and shouted, "Amber, Monty, sweeties, come on, where are you?" No, I didn't name the child, I think I changed the name. Eventually she let her doubts win and she slumped to the ground and started wailing because she knew her children were gone forever. Wow, she was quick to give up hope. Amber, of only 7, and Monty, just turned 11, had been locked in the basement for a year when the basements brought another young boy into the basement. He was about the same age as Amber, and they simply threw him into the room. When they had shut the door, Amber picked up the water bottle and walked over to him and held it out to him. A nice thought that even after being treated with the utmost cruelty, a strong-minded child can choose the personality they desire. Upfront, kind, sharing, or cagey, untrusting, frightened. "My name is Amber, what's yours?" she said as he accepted the bottle and started drinking out of it. Monty just stayed in the corner and wasn't sure about the child. It could be another one of them, he thought. "My name's Jack," he said, standing up. "Do you want to be friends with me and my brother Monty?" she said. "I don't want to be friends with him," Monty said harshly. "That's mean," Amber said. She put her hands on her hips and frowned, copying what her mum used to do. She turned to Jack. "Just ignore him, he's a little grouchy." Ready? About 3 years later, when Monty and Jack have become friends, they had all gotten older. And Amber had learned that boys will be boys and fight for the title man of the house, and fighting for the title man of the house came natural to them. The three had just eaten their daily sandwich and crisps when one of the vampires, Georgina, inside joke, the younger but more powerful of the two vampires, came into the room. Basically, one of my best friends in middle school was called Georgina. She was my first ever best friend, and I thought it would be nice of me to put her name in the book. And I didn't think it was at all mean to call one of the nasty vampires Georgina. I just thought, well, your name's in the book, isn't it? Yeah, but that's, yeah. You humans have to follow me, she said, pausing to sniff as if the smell of people disgusted her. Phew! She turned and walked out of the door, and the three followed her until they got out into the back garden. Jack and Amber innocently not knowing what fate was coming for them, but Monty, being the slightly older one, understood completely, so he stood in front of the two younger children in a protective stance. Georgina stood in front of Monty in a teasing manner. Suddenly, out of what appears to be nowhere, Tracy, the second, older and less powerful of the two vampires, is standing next to Monty, her long bony fingers stroking her neck in a hungry sort of way. Tracy sticks her long slimy tongue out and licks up Monty's neck. He stands there glued to the spot with fear as he feels two sharp pricks of pain. He feels blood trickle slowly down his neck and hears sucking noises every now and again. When she stops, she pricks her wrist with her fangs and forces him to drink the blood pulsing through her veins. She pushes the back of his head so his mouth is on the cuts, and he has no choice but to drink. When Tracy feels that enough blood has been drunk, she simply slings him to the floor. Georgina goes back inside the house and emerges with two young children, about 4 or 5 years old. Tracy saw them and cackled. She swooped over to one and sunk her fangs into his neck. Sheer terror and need flashed through his eyes. He looked at them as if he was in pain, pleading out for them to help. Jack and Amber simply stood next to each other and watched, horrified by what they were seeing. After a while, the small boy drops to the floor, limp and lifeless. "Your turn," Georgina said, staring directly at Jack. "No, I won't let you," Amber shouted, standing firmly on the spot in front of Jack. Jack was simply hoping that they did to him as they had done to Monty, and not what they had done to the boy, for Monty was still alive and moving. Tracy quickly moved behind Amber and pulled her out of the way, restraining her so she couldn't go back to protecting him. Amber wrestled with Tracy, trying to get free, but soon stopped as Georgina sunk her spiked teeth into Jack's fleshy neck. Tongue twister. She did the same with Jack. Oh God. She did the same with Jack as Tracy did with Monty. Amber drops to the floor and cries, waiting for her turn, whatever may happen to her. Tracy slowly approaches Amber. Her heart beats faster and faster. Her hands start to tremble. Her vision blurs as her eyes flood with tears. She looks over Monty. His eyes have turned black. Monty grins as he anticipates what Tracy is about to do to Amber. "No!" she screams. She still felt panic spreading through her skin. Monty clapped as Georgina sunk her teeth into Amber's young neck. This isn't like him. He'd normally be protecting me. Why is he cheering them on? She thought as she sunk to the floor, realising she's still thinking that'll be her. What? That'll be her in a few seconds. Okay, she's realising that it will be her in a few seconds, but I don't know why I put she's still thinking in there. She screams in pain as two pointy sharp fangs pierce through her gums. Tracy trembles in fear. What have we done? Tracy says, backing up against the wall. Made a superior vampire. Georgina claps in glee, as if happy with herself for putting an innocent child through this pain and torture. Amber puts her head onto the floor and cries out in pain as she feels all of her genetics being altered, her organs shifting, her personality being mutated. And that's where I'll leave it, my story, how I became more powerful than anything on this world, how I became a weapon. I'm actually quite disappointed in myself that is so bad. That was Mummy Always Said Don't Talk to Strangers. That was basically from my old, that was like from my folder that I've got of stories that I made when I was quite young. I should think that I've gotten better now. I'm not really sure. I know I'm not that bad at the minute, but I'm not great either. Yeah, thank you for watching. Cheerio.